Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video we're gonna be doing a February reading wrap up. So all the books are in February. This wasn't my best reading month. We'll get into it. So if you're new here, my name is Karen. I do a lot of books, lifestyle and fashion content. If any of that is of interest to you, make sure to hit the subscribe button. If you see a glare in the back, it's because I have my ring light. It is dark and the lighting is just horrible, and as you may know if you're following me for a long time, I wear glasses. So here are all the physical books that I read this month. So I think there's like 6 or 7 here, and then there's 2 Kindle books. One of them I'm not gonna get into too much detail because I did do a little bit of a reading blog with it and I explained a lot about it, but I mean that's also the case with a lot of this book, so I'm still gonna probably get into detail about most of them. But let's start with a few books that I really haven't gotten into that much, so maybe let's just start with a bang. This one is Verity. You might have heard about this book in a lot of different places because I remember this was trending on Book Talk for the longest time, and I'm honestly I feel like one of the last people to read this book. This is a Colleen Hoover book. This is actually one of her only thriller and horror books. She doesn't really write this genre. She goes more into romance and like drama, you know, dramatic books and things like that. This one is actually a thriller, and I was shocked. I wasn't really sure how she was gonna do right in this genre, but she really shocked me with this one. I ate this book up so freaking quick. Literally started it I think 2 days ago. It took me, if I calculate the hours that it took me, I want to say it was probably like 2 to 3 hours, maybe 5 to finish this book, and it is kind of lengthy. Anyway, so the book is about Lo and Ashley. She's a struggling writer. Her mom recently passed away and there's a lot of chaos going on in her life. She just wants a writing gig, and then the book starts with her going into a meeting, and then there's a little bit of an event before that that might be a spoiler. And then when she goes to the meeting, they tell her that they won to continue the series for this really famous writer named Verity Crawford, and in order for her to do that, she has to go to Verity's house and look through her office notes and things like that. And a lot of things unfold when she's at Verity's house, and this book will just get you hooked from the moment you open it, and you won't be able to put it down. So I definitely recommend this one. I'm gonna go into more details, maybe even a little bit of a spoiler when I upload the video, a little bit of a reading vlog with it, but that's all you need to know. So definitely recommend this one. I also read this one for my video YouTubers Pick What I Read, and the video went up I think a few weeks ago. If you haven't watched that, go ahead and watch that. This book was recommended to me by Kelsey Elizabeth. She is a podcaster. She has a really popular YouTube channel. This book was also really good. I think I gave this book a 4.5 out of 5 if I'm mistaken. It was super good. It's about Marion, this lady from like a really wealthy couple. Her and her husband are very successful, and her kid goes missing when they're at this Seattle market, and that's kind of what the book storyline follows, the fact that her kid has been missing and all the struggles that go along with that. This one, like I said, 4.5 out of 5. I went into detail about this book and my reading vlog of it, and it was just great. This one is by Jennifer Hillier. I gave Verity a 5 out of 5. This is definitely a 5 out of 5 for me. I think I'm gonna stop being super stingy with my 5 out of 5s because this one was definitely one of those. Okay, so I was saying that we've read a lot of romance this month, and that's what I'm gonna get into. I think I'm going to get into the romance series that I read this month. This one had me hooked for quite a while. Now, I went through kind of a bit of a reading slump, and this just kind of got me out of it. So thank you to Jenny Han for that, because this series really had me hooked for a while. And I actually bought another one of her series, To All the Boys I Loved Before, and that's on my TBR after I'm done with like all the books that I'm reading right now. But this book follows Belly and this boys, Susanna's boys, and this beach house, and it's kind of a little bit of a love triangle trope with this series, and I didn't think I would like that trope, but I really liked it. It was really well done. This first book just kind of introduces us to the characters and just kind of gives us a little bit of an opening into Bailey's crush over Conrad. She had a major crush on that one boy, and that's what the first book is about. And the second book is called It's Not Summer Without You, and after you read the first book, and I think this is really much of a spoiler, it kind of gives you the information of who they're missing that summer. You kind of get the vibes that a person from the first book is not going to be in this one for obvious reasons, and it still kind of follows the love story and the relationships and stuff, in the struggle of them not having this person in their life anymore. And then the last book, which might be my favorite, is called We'll Always Have Summer. This book, it's great. I honestly I never think that the last book of a series is going to be as good as this one was. And in this one, the love triangle is very exposed for this book, and they just give a lot of insight into what's going on and how they've been feeling for a long time and things like that. And he ends up with one of the boys. Sad a spoiler, and it's for you to figure out who that's gonna be. But if you want to read the series, I'll hurry because it's being turned into an Amazon series. I know she turned her last book series into a movie series, but this one's gonna be, I think, a series on Amazon Prime. So I'll hurry. If I were you, read this before the series comes out. And I already saw like sneak peeks of it, and I think it's gonna be so cute. So this next romance is also very dear to my heart. This was one of my densest reads this month, honestly. This is Love and Other Wars by Christina. I also read this one for the video where YouTubers recommended different books for me. I can't remember who recommended this one for me, but whoever did, I'm very thankful because this book was just so great. If you want to see more details about me reading this book and stuff like that, make sure to check that video. I'll have a link down below. This book is also very wildly popular on BookTok, and it was on my TBR for a while, but then when I had this idea of reading books that other people recommended, I had a hunch that somebody was going to recommend Love and Other Words by Christina. But this one was, I think, a 4.5 out of 5 for me. The only reason why I didn't give it 5 out of 5 is because I thought it was very dense, and I feel like they could have taken 50 pages out of this book and make it, I don't know, a little bit shorter, because we didn't need that much context for certain things. But I think the characters were beautifully developed. And so this book follows two friends, Elliot and Macy, and they've known each other since they were kids, and they love books, they love reading. I am a sucker for books about books people that love reading, so this one was very dear to my heart for that reason. Yeah, they read in this little nook that Macy has in her summer vacation house. They spend a lot of time together, and this book, their relationship develops so well, and then it follows them until they are adults. So those kind of go back and forth. It has two storylines when they were kids and then when they're adults, and you'll see why kind of towards the end of the book, why it's trying to explain to you what's going on and going back and forth. But yeah, Christina, Love and Other Words. This was my first book by them, or my second one actually, because I read The Honeymooners last month and they do not disappoint. To the last two books that I read, they were both Kindle books, and they're probably available in physical copies, but I read them on Kindle because they were free, and we love free books sometimes. These books were great. So let's start with Reminders of Him by Colleen Hoover. I did read 2 Colleen Hoover books this month, and I have no regrets about that because they were both equally great. Reminders of Him was almost a 5 out of 5 for me. I was being kind of stingy when I rated that book because that's how I am when it comes to books, but honestly it was great. It's about this girl. The first few scenes, she's in this new town, and it gives a little bit of backstory of why she was in prison. She goes back to the town where a lot of bad things happen to her because she wants to reconnect with her daughter and find her daughter and be able to be a part of her daughter's life. And she meets a love interest, and there's a really heavy emotional things in this book. One of them is like, you know, getting custody of your child and things like that, and there's a death in the book, so those are a few triggers. I can't remember names right now, guys, if I'm totally honest. My brain's becoming kind of fried towards the end of this video. But Reminders of Ben by Colleen Hoover, great book. It's kind of sappy, but it doesn't have like a super traumatic ending like some of her books do. I guess that's the only thing I'll say about it. Book was a 4.5 out of 5 for me. I absolutely love that book. Also read that one for my video I told you guys about. And then the last book I read was Twisted Love by Huang. Also for the video where the YouTuber told me what to read, that took up a big chunk of my reading for February, and that book was great. It is kind of a cheesy romance. Like, there's a lot of very cheesy things about it. Like, there's even like mention of a princess and a bodyguard, and I think that's what the second book of the series is going to be about. And I don't think I'm going to read that because I don't think it's something I'm going to be into, but I could change my mind, so maybe scratch that. That book follows a girl whose name I can't remember, and then a guy named Alex, and she is a brother's best friend trope. So if you like that, I think you'll like this book because it's a very well developed brother's best friend trope. I've never read a book with that trope before, and I really liked it because it kind of gives you a little bit of a protector side of things, and you know, the whole brother's best friend and like betraying your brother, and then betraying your best friend when you date each other. And it's kind of grumpy sunshine. Not really, I mean, he's very grumpy, but she's not very sunshiny. Kind of, but not really. I feel like she gets put as a very sunshiny person in the book, but she really isn't that sunshiny. I could be wrong if I'm remembering this book right, but I really liked it. I think that was kind of like a 4 out of 5 for me. There was a few factors missing for me to give it 5 out of 5. Liked it, I really recommend it. Maybe I'll read the series if I ever find myself with like no other books to read. But yeah, those are actually all the books I read this month. I went on talking a lot longer than I was expecting to talk, but let me know down in the comments what books you read this month and what books I should be reading for March. My TBR is starting to be creative for this month, even though I'm already reading for other book videos challenges that I'm planning for this month, because I'm kind of really enjoying doing this little reading challenges, so I kind of stay motivated with like getting out of my comfort zone. So that's what we're gonna be doing this month. Let me know down in the comments. Thank you so much, you guys, for watching, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I'll see you guys on the next video.